Well, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us today, being on the 26th of January 2026. A very warm welcome to Sports City Extra. My name is Chris Mololo. I'm here with Felix Makona. Hi.
Hi.
Do I need to ask how your weekend was?
My weekend was nice. I'm the Global Arsenal Ambassador,
Eish.
GAA, so nothing wrong. We are still at the top. Congratulations to Manchester United. Michael Carrick is doing a lot of work at Manchester United.
Yeah, sure. And I'm sure he's just correcting the mistakes that Amorim was making. And he's trying to make Manchester a better team. And you know, Michael Carrick has played under Sir Alex.
Top four. That is a Champions League club. The way they played against Arsenal. And even in our first game when we were facing them in the opening game of this season, although we beat them 1-0, but Manchester United dominated. Arsenal, and we have to accept Manchester United was good. It was only that the tactics under Ruben Amorim didn't click like the ones under Michael Carrick. You know, Michael Carrick just came in as an interim coach last 2 to 3 weeks, and now he has beaten Manchester City. He beat them 2-0. Now he has beaten Arsenal 3-2. So that shows you that it's a serious team. Congratulations to Manchester United, but we remain Arsenal.
Of course, we'll talk more about that in the second part of this show, how the Gunners were unable to shoot the Red Devils. But of course, on the first part, we begin by the second part. We'll talk about the EPL action and the UEFA Champions League. The league phase is coming to an end with the round 8 of the matches being played. 18 matches being played on one day. We'll tell you the fixtures. So let's begin. Si unajuanga KPL ni yako.
Yeah, so in the Kenya Premier League, this weekend was having fixtures, and this was a round of 19. We had the likes of Gor Mahia winning despite them having red card. We had AFC Leopards, the mighty AFC Leopards. But they are tied on points with Gor Mahia, who have 36. The only difference this year is goal difference. So this goal difference, Gor Mahia have 15, while AFC Leopards have 12. So that shows you that despite Gor Mahia having one game in hand, there's still some things to do. And AFC Leopards this season, they look serious more than the other seasons.
And I just came to realize that this one game in hand, Gor Mahia, is unresolved issue on the game they played Nairobi United.
Yeah.
So we will be here to update you with what will be decided on that case.
But I think it is the work of the FKF board to resolve the issue, because the match was halted, and despite had any side scored, no, I think it was still 0-0.
Yeah.
And Gor Mahia were looking for the match to be rescheduled as early as possible, so that they can plan for the season. When you have a game in hand, it gives you those goosebumps. Will we win or will we lose? So it is the work of the FKF board in relation to the Sportpesa, the sponsors, to make sure that the game is rescheduled and it is played.
And I don't understand why FKF are delaying in solving this issue. They are focusing on other things, harassing Harold Ndege here and there. But on an important issue like that, they are just delaying.
But I think the issue of Harold Ndege is that the thing is the one bringing some corruption in the FKF board. Those are just allegations, and even the FKF boss himself, Hussein Mohammed, said that he will not allow such businesses in the SportPesa Premier League. I think it is just a matter of interests.
Yeah,
you know, the interests are contrasting each other's interests. Harold Ndege is the CEO,
Yes.
while Mohammed
is the president.
So I think it is just a matter of power. So, you know, when the power coincide, you find that there will be those differences that will arise. And,
Wrangles.
yeah. So I think it is a matter of everyone should perfect his work and make sure that everyone sticks to the role that is given. Let Mohammed Hussein stick to the role of the FKF president, while Harold Ndege sticks to the role of the CEO. So the chief executive officer is below the president. So maybe they should find a way to resolve the issues, but I don't think the issues can escalate more than that. And you know, when the issues are there in the leadership of the league, it means that they can affect even the result and the sponsors. You know, the other time, I remember, was it SportPesa again was sponsoring, or who was sponsoring the Premier League, the FKF Premier League? They had even to withdraw the broadcast rights.
It was still SportPesa.
Yeah, they had to withdraw the broadcast rights even from KBC was the one that was airing the games, but they had to withdraw because there was corruption, something like that. There were allegations of corruption in the board, and that time was Nick Mwendwa, you know, and those things went like that, and after he had served his 8 years as the FKF boss, Nick Mwendwa, when he stepped down, everyone welcomed this regime as a good regime.
Yes.
Everyone hoped that this regime will rebuild. Mololo, do you agree with me? Will rebuild the FKF Premier League. And now that the sponsors are back, we don't want to go whereby the sponsors will run away. The SportPesa has come in. We have others that are sponsoring individual clubs, like Betika is sponsoring even AFC Leopards. Others are sponsoring Gor Mahia. So if these wrangles continue, you find that the investor will run away. So it is the work of the board to make sure that the investor remains.
And we don't expect something like that to happen, because I've been listening to SportPesa representatives, the ones from Azam. All these sponsors have very good plans for the league. And you can see the way Kenya Premier League has started being competitive. You could see even in the relegation zone, the teams there down, you can see there is still competition. Yeah, and by the time we are saying 2027 ndio hiyo, and we'll be co-hosting the Africa Cup of Nations with Uganda and Tanzania, we'll be seeing a very big improvement in our clubs.
That is true, and we hope it continues the same. So apart from that, we have a game that played, that was on 24th. Bomet versus Shabana. It was a draw 3-3. This was on Saturday. And I remember we were here. Shabana was leading 2-0. Then all of a sudden, Bomet came in. But I can say something about Shabana FC goalkeeper. Shabana FC goalkeeper, that last goal he conceded should be investigated. Because according to my view, I think he was sleeping in the goal.
Yeah.
According to my view, I know mistakes happen, but how can you? The ball was not as hard. It was not a shot. It was just a ball that the goalkeeper can stick with it. But he punched the ball, and all of a sudden, the ball goes into the net. So I think that 3-3 should be investigated. Should he be a local investor, Mololo?
By the way, when it comes to things to do with match fixing and betting and all that, these are things that happen, but we can't talk about them for now because we don't know. But APS Bomet, for me, I think with Samuel Molo Pamzo as their coach, I think they are doing very well. They are doing very well. And I am sure they are going to escape the relegation zone.
That is my prayer too. Then Mara Sugar FC versus Kenya Police, also on Saturday. It was a 1-0. That was a deserved 1-0 win for Kenya Police, because Kenya Police last season, they did marvelous. Then Gor Mahia, despite them having red card, they managed to beat Bidco United 2-1. We had Ochuoga scoring, and Ebenezer also scoring in the 863 minutes. Then Brian Odo scored for Bidco United. Another game brought together Murang'a Seal versus Ulinzi Stars. Murang'a Seal won 2-1. Paul Okot scoring for Ulinzi Stars, and Murang'a Seal scoring the 2 goals.
Murang'a Seal are also doing very well.
Yeah.
By the way, and when I was here on Monday, I was talking about how Coach Osborne Monday has improved Murang'a Seal, because looking at their performance last season and this season, we can see a very great improvement. And by the way, I didn't know Osborne Monday is a very good coach, but we are seeing the results now.
But the two teams, the Murang'a, the KCB and Tusker, is only a difference of 2 points, and Tusker have 27, KCB have 25, and that Murang'a Seal you are talking about, 27 points, only 9 points to the top. That is, if they have those 9 points, they will be topping the league ahead of Gor Mahia. So Tusker versus KCB, it was a 2-1 win for Tusker. And then Sofapaka versus AFC Leopards, it was a 1-0 win for AFC Leopards. K. Odhiambo scoring the only goal. KC Odhiambo scored the only goal in the 47th minute to seal the 1-0 win. I think this is the only team that is giving Gor Mahia sleepless nights.
Yeah.
Despite Gor Mahia having one game in hand, that is against Nairobi United, they still draw in points. That is, they are tied in points of 36-36, while only the goal difference is separating these two sides. Let's not also forget Shabana FC, because they are having 28. Only 8 points to the top. And Shabana can surprise you anytime, any day. If they would have won the game against Bomet FC, APS Bomet, I think the only difference now could be 5 points, because they will be having 30. So 6 points only. And you know, let's not also forget Kakamega Homeboys. Despite them being loose these days, they can still manage to do something. Round of 13 will be played on 31st. That is 4 days from now, whereby Mathare United will be facing KCB. Kakamega Homeboys will be tackling Mara Sugar FC. Gor Mahia will now face Sofapaka. That is the round of 19, the remaining games. The round of 20 will be played on February, that is from 6th to 9th. And that is, we have the likes of Mathare facing Tusker. Those are big games only. Bandari facing AFC Leopards. KCB facing Kariobangi. Gor Mahia facing APS Bomet, while Ulinzi Stars will face Kenya Police. Those are the games that we expect. And on the standings on the table, of course, I will give you from 1 to 5, then from 14 to 20. Number 1 is Gor Mahia, they have 36 points. Number 2 is AFC Leopards, Ingwe Yamatere, they have 36 points. Shabana FC have 28 points. Kenya Police have 28 points, while on 5th position, we have Kakamega Homeboys, who have 27 points. The last 5 is Ulinzi Stars. number 14 with 17 points. APS Bomet with 15 points. Bidco United with 15 points. Sofapaka 17th with 14 points, while Kariobangi Sharks are also having 14 points in the 18th position. So if the league was to end today, Mololo, Sofapaka and Kariobangi Sharks will be relegated to the National Super League, while Bidco United will face a game to choose. That will be like the other season where Naivas played.
But I think they did away with that playoff thing.
Playoff thing is not there.
Yeah, it's not there. I think they decided they'll be relegating 3 teams and they promote 3 teams from the National Super League.
So it will be like the English Premier League.
It will be like other leagues. Like so, if the league was to end today, Bidco United, Sofapaka, and Kariobangi Sharks would be relegated.
Okay, that is a new update.
Yeah.
So that is the SportPesa Kenya Premier League, which is sponsored by the SportPesa gambling company, and gambling is addictive, not advisable, or not allowed to under 18s. Yeah,
sure. And just something that we can talk about. AFC Leopards this season, and I heard you mention that comparing to other season, AFC Leopards is going to give Gor Mahia sleepless nights. Do you think this could be the time for us to see the results of the Ambani brothers?
It is time because, you know...
Remember when they entered, Boniface Ambani as the chairman and Fred Ambani as the coach, they faced a lot of opposition. People talked about this and this, and when they started seeing the results, they are now silent.
That is true. There's a saying that says, in a working environment, there are those who work and there are those who take credit. I think for Boniface Ambani and his brother, I think they are the one who are trying to work and let the team and the fans take credit. So that backlash will be there in every working condition, not only at AFC Leopards, but everywhere. You know, let's even talk about the English Premier League.
Yeah.
When a coach comes in, like Ruben Amorim, like Michael Carrick, everyone didn't believe in the transformation of any team, or even in any working condition, especially when you are new there. People will look at you and say, what can you do? What can you bring? But it is your work to prove to them that you are the right man, you are the right person for that job. Yeah. So I think the Ambani brothers right now, they are proving to us that they are the one that they have been sent by God to save AFC Leopards. Yeah. AFC Leopards, the other seasons, they were used to be beaten in the Mashemeji Derby every now and then. Gor Mahia could just wake up knowing that we are going to collect 3 points. But this season, Mololo, I remember telling you here on the show, Mololo.
Yes, I remember.
I remember telling you, this year, Gor Mahia will not beat AFC Leopards. What happened? And I told you, please take your rent, take your... take the money you used to do shopping, take everything, place your bet on AFC Leopards. Yeah. And it had the odds of 2.5. 2.5, when you multiply by, let's say, something like 30,000, you have 60,000. Now, Mololo, you can pay the rent up to the next month. I told you, but you never listened. So, and I'm sure, again, when they meet these top teams like KCB, Sofapaka, they have to perform. That is AFC Leopards. If they are serious, they want to win the SportPesa Premier League. Now that the money prize has increased up to around 20 million, including bonuses, I think it is now their time to take the prize. Yeah.
Let's talk about the defending champions, Kenya Police. Now they have Nicholas Muyoti as the coach. This guy was coaching Nairobi United. After Kenya Police sacked the Burundi coach. This season, how would you say about the performance of Kenya Police?
Kenya Police, their performance is not as bad as you see them. You know, when a team wins a trophy the previous season, most likely the following season, they are likely to be down.
Yeah.
I don't want to use an example of Liverpool, but it is a good example to use. So
I knew you'll touch on Liverpool.
The same. Let's go even to Bundesliga. Bayer Leverkusen,
Yeah.
the season they won the league, the German Bundesliga, unbeaten, invincible. The next season, where are they? They sold the likes of Pierre Hincapié on loan to Arsenal, Jonathan Tah. They sold almost everyone in that club. And now they are down. They are not even near top 4. That's Bayer Leverkusen of Germany. Liverpool, the same way. They are struggling to come back to top 4.
Yeah.
Look at even when Manchester City won the league. They never maintained that consistency for all. Despite them maintaining the consistency for 2 to 3 to 4 years, but they have reached a point whereby they have stalled, you know? Yeah. So, but it is different from Kenya Police because Kenya Police right now have 28 points. Yeah. They still have 1 game in hand. When they win that 1 game in hand, they will be having 31 points. Yeah. That is 5 points to the top if everything goes to plan. So, 5 points to the top is not a big gap that you can say this Kenya Police has dropped. So, no, we still say football is a game of chances, and if chances arise, Kenya Police can even win and surprise us this season.
Time now for switching gears to EPL action. Now, we begin in Etihad, where Manchester City got, I don't know if I can call it convincing, because it reached a point you could see that Manchester City looked like they were somehow tired. But all in all, they won 2-0. Goals from Omar Mamouche and their new signing, Antoine Semenyo. Felix, what do you have to say about this match?
They won against Wolverhampton just to exert pressure on Arsenal. And Haaland has now gone up to 9 games without scoring. So I don't know what is wrong at Manchester City, because he has not been fed with the ball like he has been used to do with Ryan Cherki. So I think Manchester City, they should now depend more on Omar Marmoush and Semenyo to make sure that this season they save it and they continue to give Arsenal pressure, because in this world, as a man, you must work hard, and this is a main team. So Manchester City, congratulations for your win.
I was listening to the commentary for this game from BBC, and these guys were saying that if we want to see Haaland back in the score sheet, it depends with how Phil Foden performs. When Foden performs well, Haaland performs. I don't know if you agree with that.
I tend to agree. Now that Foden is also down, and Pep Guardiola prefers Ryan Cherki in that 10th position. So it is a matter of how well Cherki can do to help Haaland score goals. But usually Phil Foden and Haaland, you remember the combination when they faced Manchester United, Haaland scored a hat-trick, Foden scored a hat-trick. That was the Haaland and Foden we used to know. But now their combination maybe is dropping due to some players who left Manchester City. I think the chemistry at Manchester City is yet to click again with the two. And I really agree with the commentary you have been listening to, and that is a good show.
Especially when Kevin De Bruyne left, you could see that Haaland is not scoring as we used to see him do. But I think with the performance of the midfielders who are supposed to feed him with the ball, if it improves, then we can start seeing Haaland back in the score sheet.
Yeah, because when you see right now, Igor Thiago of Brentford has 16 goals, while Erling Haaland have 20. So if he fails to score in the next 3 to 4 games, I think Igor Thiago will be leading the goal scoring, and that is the yearning for the Golden Boot. Also, Antoine Semenyo is having 11 goals.
Yeah.
So it is just a matter of let's see what happens in future.
All right. Seeing that Tottenham got their goals from the defenders,
Yeah.
do you think the attack is not clicking as it's supposed to be?
Tottenham attack,
Because
I will say,
they have so many good players. Kudus, Javi Simons, Odegaard, Richarlison. What's wrong?
at Tottenham, you find that sometimes they lock the strikers. The defense of the opponent usually marks the strikers. And that is not different from the game against Burnley because they were locked from scoring. So Tottenham had to use the defense to make sure that they at least get 1 point in this game.
Now to Bournemouth versus Liverpool. This match also spoiled my weekend, but ni kawaida. So Felix,
Yes.
what do you have to say before I talk? Because niko na hasira.
I can say this Bournemouth was already winning this game. It was their game to lose, but luckily they won. Evan Nilsson scored in the 26th minute. Jimenez scored in the 33 minutes. Before Liverpool discovered themselves, and they scored through Van Dijk and Szoboszlai in the 45 minutes and 80 minutes respectively. And it was now a 2-2 draw. Before Bournemouth discovered themselves again that it was their game to lose, they decided, no, this one we must win. And Adley scored in the 90 plus 5 minutes. And currently, you find that Liverpool are not in a position to compete at the highest level, like we said. Maybe it is the death of Diogo Jota that is haunting them, but this Liverpool right now, maybe they will not have something to dedicate to Diogo Jota at the end of the season. That is the bad thing we have to say. Maybe they win the FA Cup, because the Carabao, they are not in the Carabao Cup right now. Maybe they win the FA or the Champions League.
Yeah, but I think we are, as fans, we are blaming the coach for mistakes that are being committed by players, because there is no way that players can be making mistakes here and there, and as fans we are saying Ancelotti must go. I don't think if that's a very good thing to do. But for me, I'd say Van Dijk is one defender that we respect as Liverpool fans. Of course, mistakes are normal, and he really did cost us that much, because looking at the goals that we conceded, the first one and the second, you could see that it was his mistake. And Joe Gomez ended up getting injured, and that means Van Dijk is the only central defender that we have. Ibrahima Konate was away to attend his father's burial, so he was not available for the game. But generally, Liverpool are blowing hot and cold with the performances, just behaving like Tottenham. In the Champions League, performing very well. In the league, I don't know what's happening. But of course, we are the defending champions. We have to do something, at least because it's difficult to say that we can win the league, but of course, at least for Liverpool to get a Champions League slot come next season. Well, from there, let's talk about Aston Villa. They played Newcastle yesterday, and Aston Villa got another win, and they are really looking like title contenders this season. They are in the third position, same points with Man City, right?
Yeah.
And just a short comment for this game, and then we watch the highlights as we try to catch up with time.
Aston Villa, those 2-0 win, Oli Watkins returning to scoring ways in the 88 minutes, while Emiliano Buendia opened the scoring in the 19th minutes. That shows you that Aston Villa is a serious contender for the English Premier League. Even if Manchester City will give Arsenal headache, Aston Villa will add another syringe or another hard shot on that goosebumps or on that pressure Manchester City is giving to Arsenal. Because if it goes, Arsenal loses 2 games, Manchester City loses 2 games, then Aston Villa wins all of them. It means Aston Villa are taking the league. So it is still hard to know who is going to lift the league with the performances Aston Villa is giving us.
So Arsenal, the pressure increase or decrease?
The pressure increases.
This was a very nice game to watch. Chelsea started very well until they made some crazy substitutions, but luckily they had already scored 3 goals. Adam Wharton got a red card. I think that's the only thing we can talk about that game, and I'd like to hear your comments about the substitutions that Liam Rosenia was making, and just to compare the performance of this new coach, although I think it's early, but do you think Enzo Maresca was better?
There's no better coach than the current one, because the current one has come in, he was only beaten by Arsenal, and that was in the Carabao Cup, or the English Football League. And now, having Estavio in that team, I can comment on Estavio and say Chelsea bought a player in Estavio. Estavio is just a good winger and a good attacking player. Joao Pedro scoring in the 50 minutes, that was a good show to him. Enzo Fernandez at 64 scoring a penalty was a good to him. Then Richards coming in and stepping 1 goal up for Crystal Palace was just another good show, so that they never walked away at home barehanded. That is good show to both the teams. Congratulations to Chelsea. It is only 1 point you enter top 4, and if Arsenal could have beaten Manchester United yesterday, you could already be in top 4. But the next game will determine where you want to be as Chelsea Football Club. Because when I look at here, Chelsea, they are facing West Ham on 31st this January, while Manchester United will be facing Fulham. So let's Chelsea pray that Manchester United and Fulham draw while they win against West Ham. But these 2 games are still looking like Chelsea and Manchester United will win their games this coming weekend.
Biggest match this weekend, Arsenal versus Manchester United, 2 teams with big fan bases in Kenya. And of course, in this studio, we are not in peace because Manchester United fans have just decided to shine today. And Felix,
yes,
what went wrong yesterday? Because let's be honest, looking at things, everyone expected Arsenal to win because first they were at the Emirates.
It is true, because Arsenal was wanting to win this game for them to go 7 points clear. Now, I will just congratulate Manchester United. Congratulations, Manchester United, for beating Arsenal, despite me being the global Arsenal ambassador here on Science TV. But Manchester United, you did a wonderful job yesterday. Patrick Dogu goal against Manchester City was a banger goal like today. Then, like yesterday against Arsenal. Then Matheus Cunha, you killed us Arsenal fans. Maybe we will forgive you another day, but now we can't forgive you, because even the Manchester United players themselves, they never knew it was a goal. They waited for the referee to see if really the net had received the ball from Cunha. That was a big curve. Those curve added a wound to the Arsenal's fans' hearts. And that goal from Cunha was just a fantastic goal. Arsenal scored through Lisandro Martinez. That was an own goal. Then Mikel Merino scored from a set piece. That was from a corner in the 84th minute. And it was a 2-2 draw by 84th minute, before Matheus Cunha scored another 2 minutes later. In this game, Mololo, I will tell you, Arsenal only dominated Manchester United in the first half. Before Mbeumo scored in the 37 minutes, Arsenal was dominating. After there, Manchester United took control of the game just straight away from halftime. That's where Patrick Dogu scored that banger. And I don't know where Manchester United have just gotten their strength, because they were not playing like this under Ruben Amorim. So Michael Carrick maybe is the man to take Manchester United to the Canaan.
And I told you this guy is bringing Fergie vibes. And I don't know if Manchester United are planning to get another coach, but if Carrick continues, this guy might shock many rival fans. But that's it. Do you think ulisema pressure increase?
Pressure is increasing on Arsenal, and especially Tottenham is facing Manchester City next. So Arsenal will be waiting for what the result Manchester City will be getting. And you know that has now put pressure on Arsenal, because they don't know if Manchester City will win all their games. And of course, I'm sure Arsenal will fumble one game in the coming matches.
And remember Aston Villa Pierre.
Yeah. Aston Villa Pierre is there. So Arsenal have two rivals right now. And the difference between Arsenal and the two teams, Aston Villa and Manchester City, is only 4 points. And these 4 points can be achievable over 2 weeks or after 2 match weeks. That is, if Arsenal loses 2 games and Manchester City and Aston Villa wins 2 games, Aston Villa or Manchester City will be ahead of Arsenal by 2 points. Ay, Mungu, sasa sisi. Jamani, God, if this season was ours, please give us. We pray.
Mlisema mko na squad depth. Blah, blah, blah.
And all the 3 seasons, Arsenal was leading until December or January, then we bottled it. So this season, I hope it is going to be different. Let's just maintain the composure. Next week, Arsenal is facing Leeds, while Manchester City is facing Tottenham. Let Tottenham win, Arsenal beat Leeds. Then next, Liverpool versus Manchester City. Let Liverpool win, so that we are calculating. Let's look at the future, how the future may be.
The remaining match day 23 will be Leeds facing Everton. We'll update you with the results tomorrow. As we finish, let's take a look at the UEFA Champions League fixtures.
UEFA Champions League round of 8. This is the last round before the league phase is done and we enter the quarterfinals direct. So Benfica will be facing Real Madrid, Barcelona will face Copenhagen, Manchester City will face Galatasaray, Liverpool will face Karabakh, Napoli will face Chelsea. That is tomorrow. that is on Wednesday, 28th. And then PSG versus Newcastle, still on 28th. Arsenal versus Kairat Almaty on 28th. PSV Eindhoven versus Bayern. All the games are on 28th because it is the last game. And then Borussia Dortmund versus Inter Milan, 28th. Atletico Madrid versus Bodo Glimt. AS Monaco versus Juventus. Frankfurt versus Tottenham. Bayer Leverkusen from Germany versus Villarreal from Spain. Athletic Club from Spain versus Sporting Lisbon from Portugal. Club Brugge versus Marseille. Union Saint-Gilloise versus Atalanta. Ajax from Netherlands versus Olympiacos. Pafos versus Slavia Praha. All games will be played almost the same time because they will be played at 11 p.m. and it will be the last game in the league phase, so that when you look at the standings, the teams that will finish number 1 up to 8 will qualify to the quarterfinals direct, while those from number 8 to 24 will have playoffs, so that they get other 8 teams to face those that finish number 1 to number 8 in the quarterfinals. So
round of 16.
Round of 16, sorry. Round of 16, not quarterfinal, round of 16. And from there, we will know what will happen.
All right, that will be all for tonight on Sports City Extra. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to interact with us on all our social media platforms and visit our website www.sciencetv.co.ke. My name is Chris Mololo. I have been with Felix Makona, and it's goodbye from us. Have a good night.